Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long Blues 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Blues 1975.
This is Test Drive 2, The Duel, or The Duel Test Drive 2. I don't actually know which one it is. Obviously, this was released by Accolade in 1989, and it's a direct follow-up to the hugely successful original Test Drive. I have gameplays of Test Drive and Test Drive 2, The Duel, on my A500 Mini on this channel, and as I mentioned back in the day, I have extreme amount of nostalgia for seeing static screenshots of the original game in magazines, but you know, it's a question of all these years later, don't meet your heroes, because it was rubbish. Tried to mix things up. The first one came out on the Amiga and the Atari ST, and maybe DOS, maybe the Archimedes, can't remember. And they tried to mix it up in the second one. I think you know what they did, because it's called The Duel. And so there's less cars. There are two, Porsche 959 and Ferrari F40, and basically you race against another opponent. You race against a computer, or you race against the clock. Now, the first game was actually released on the Commodore 64, can't get that to work. The second game was released on the Spectrum, the Amstrad, the Commodore 64, the Amiga, the Atari ST, and other stuff. But the point is, it got released on the ZX Spectrum. So I thought, I have to give this a go. Now, I always try and show the ZX Spectrum in the best of lights, because it is the machine that I grew up with and introduced me to gaming, and I absolutely love and adore of it. It was the little machine that truly could in the right hands. And I think you know that if I'm putting a preemptive, I always try and show the ZX Spectrum in the best of lights, that this game is going to be appalling. This game is appalling. I played it literally for 30 seconds, and I refuse to believe that this is the best they could do. How limited this game is on the Amiga. Look at the videos I've just done. I know lots of people have lots of nostalgia for it, but yeah, the Spectrum could have done this. The Spectrum could have done this. It wouldn't have had any colour, but it could have done this. Anyway, let's get into it. So we press enter, and right, are you ready? You cannot change your controls. I cannot play it with joystick because joystick will not work. I have to play it with keyboard, which means I can change my controls from keyboard to joystick, is what I'm saying, and also can change it from clock to computer. We'll try both, and I can also obviously go from easy to hard. What, you couldn't put the baby in, and you couldn't put a fully grown bloke in on the right. When I say I thought this got decent reviews, I don't know, to be fair, but I can't think that it did. It's definitely made by Accolade though. Look at the bottom of the screen. Right, so here's the next thing that really pisses me off. Okay, Q is left, and W is right, L is accelerate, and K is brake. When you put up and down side by side, and that just doesn't work for me. Absolutely doesn't work for me. You cannot change these controls. It's 1989. Supposedly, this is according to World of Spectrum, where I got the ROM. This is a 128K ROM. No music, absolutely no music, in garbage sound effects. Trust me, you'll see them, well, you'll hear them in a minute. So I do apologise about the background noise, as I live on the busiest road in the West Country. But at least you'll hear actual cars, because what you're going to hear in this game isn't cars. It's a crime, basically. It's a crime against sound. So, let's get into it. Right, so yeah, basically we have to race our opponent. It does have one thing over the Amiga version. Let's get into it. Right, so, anyway, top right, my mirror. Bottom right, my gear stick. Steering wheel on the left, incorrect side of the car. And that's my engine noise. Isn't it just purring like a kitten? And you can see the speed on the dash, and we have a rev counter as well, and we have miles, because you have to race from garage to garage. Sorry, petrol station or garage. No, petrol station. I'm sorry. Right, so accelerate L. Your gear, it doesn't actually tell me in the instructions what is fast, so I don't actually know. Look, Look, now, this is what it has over the Amiga. Car looks like something from the fucking Jetsons. Look at it. Hey, this is... I don't even know what I hit. I can't have hit that car. You have 4 lives left. He's actually overtaken me and he's coming into my lane. So he does have this over the Amiga. Your opponent is actually visible. Your opponent's on screen. Accelerate. Right. Gun it. Look, the front of the car, the guy coming towards us on the left, when he drove straight through the car that just overtook us, also on the left, but now in front of me, looks exactly the same as the back of the car, which is on the right now. So I'm accelerating. The controls, we do have that little dot on the steering wheel. It doesn't self-center as well, which I guess is somewhat of a blessing. But what hit me? How shit this game has just hit me. But yeah, your controls are squiffy to tits. I don't even want to know what happens if there are 2 cars on the screen at the same time, because, yeah, my hitbox is the size of the moon. Also, right, I refuse to believe that this is the best that the graphics could do for, you know, our scenery. I'm just going to chuck it out there, but Jace HQ came out in 1989. Hell, Enduro Racer came out in 1987. Different type game, I am aware of that. How am I hitting him? If I'm any further away, I'll be in Spain. Accelerate. You're not going to see much. I did get to level 2 just now, which means I probably won't get to level 2 now. Or, in this gameplay, Shah. Also, look at my rear view mirror, and then remember stuff like Super Monaco GP. That, how did I not get hit by him that time? Collision detection is tits, but yeah, so... Rear view mirrors, oh, is this the petrol station? No, it's not. Rear view mirrors can be done. There's nothing going on in that one. I overtook someone. I feel like I've achieved something today. Right, brake. Oh, no, in between the white lines. Right, congratulations on making the record books. You got the highest score for this road section. I have a feeling we all know what's coming next. Holy shit burgers, you won this round, you are winning the game. Couldn't even do that on the Amiga, and I could actually see on the Amiga, section 1, 2.6 miles, your time 1.40.2 plus a second, your average speed 58 miles per hour, your score 2,737 points. Does that mean I can buy shit? I don't know. I still don't know what you actually do in this, to be fair. You know, like, does stuff happen? Do you upgrade your car, or is it just literally point A to point B, stop at petrol stations? Because while it gives you the option to ignore the petrol stations, even though I haven't done it, but if I did do it on the Amiga, I would run out of petrol literally as soon as I pass the petrol station. So either, as I mentioned in that video, these cars are incredibly uneconomical, or they have thimbles for petrol tanks. Other person's time 7:30, average speed 20 miles an hour. Others, you what? That's a computer. You're in a 959, a Porsche 959, and you're going 20 miles an hour. To be fair, he probably just really likes his car, and it cost a lot of money. Space. Best times. Well, me, I guess. They just told us the other bloke was going 20 miles an hour, otherwise known as slow. This game is fucking awful. I refuse. I know it wasn't great on the Amiga. I believe my exact words were, it's shit. Actually, no, I said the first game was shit, but the second game was shit. But I prefer to play the first game because it's slightly less shit than the second game. This could have done better than this, absolutely. This is dialed in, isn't it? This is selling, even then, this is selling off the name of Test Drive. Unless there are those of you who had it on the Spectrum back in the day. Although we did persevere and put up with shite, so, you know. But let's, for the record, this is shite. But I had to play it. I got to get rented on the Mega Drive and the SNES at some point. It's not on my Mega Drive Mini though, so I don't know. I'll have to play on something else. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Fine. Look at the cliff. Now, Stunt Car Racer was on the Spectrum. 2 cars behind me in the mirror. Stunt Car was on Spectrum. That's 1989. So, shit. What is that? Sorry is dialed in, isn't it? Sorry fucking excuse for a cliff. Why is it blue at the end? Right, so that's the person who just overtook me is the opponent. So I guess he's going. I guess he learned his list steering is fucking imprecise as tits. Also, how am I anywhere near that cactus? That was 128 miles an hour. Look at it. It's practically photorealistic. And the sensation of speed is incredible. Why? Oh, tunnel! We had a tunnel. Sensation of speed is incredible. I like... Bollocks. I like the blue bit at the end of the yellow cliff mountain. Look. So, there's no one... There's no undulation either. I don't know. That's just an excuse for me to say undulation. Can I enter your name? Tits. Nope. Can't spell. McGee. You gonna let me put my full name in? Oh, you get a point. 1 point. I'm feeling generous. Right. Jane, Tits McGee, Alan, Ned, Simon, Dan. Your score, 2,737 points. It's not, look at their scores. It's not massively, you know, giving in the score department, is it? To be fair, it's not massively giving in any other fucking department. I want to change my car. Shall I? Oh, this is going to end in tears. Also, Z. No, keyboard. What's the other one? L to change different. No, I want to change period. That's an odd key choice for me to change what I'm racing against. I'm racing against a clock, so therefore there shouldn't... Well, no, there will be other cars on the road, but at least I don't have to worry about one overtaking me then sit in front of me like a slow bastard. You know, the sort of track that goes down the middle lane of the motorway at 50 miles an hour, even though there's nothing in the left lane. Otherwise known as my uncle. True story. Right. Space. No, enter. There are cars behind me. Oh, no, yep, so we got... You have blown your engine, right. Space is shift. Even though it doesn't tell you that in the instructions. So we can shift. It does have the option to shift. Which I imagine just makes it even more difficult. Two cars merging with each other. It's like the Thing in car form. Oh, I'm not in top. I'm in top now. This is just... These controls are just... spaff. Did you? It started me in like 4th, didn't it? Why are these keys... There you go. Oh please, in my car you can pull away in 2nd. I'm pretty sure you could in a fucking Ferrari. I think we're in the Ferrari. I tell you what though, you can tell that this game's got no realism compared to its glorious 16-bit brother. I'm still in 2nd. Because I've got no cup holder. The world's gone to tits. I've got no cup holder. I've got no control over my car. The sound is drilling into my friggin' skull. There's no way, if you saw this on your mate's Amiga and Atari ST, and probably to be fair back then, if you walked from a Spectrum into a 16-bit house, I probably looked at it and just went, oh, it looks just like we're live. Shizen! But again, also, how far away am I? I thought the collision detection was shite in the Amiga version. But there's no way you would have done this and just persevered with it and said, look, change the fuck. Let's pause. Right, you got to be moving. Even though you want to shift because you know you can't move. So you got to be accelerating to shift down because whatever gear you were in when you died, it stays there. But yeah, there's no way you would have gone on this and just go, well, this is the best we got, and it's just as good. You would have just said probably what I said as an adult. Fuck off. This is the best you can do. Well, the music sounds like a fucking Hammer... The music... Sorry, the way my car's accelerating... Change gear. Sounds like a Hammer House of Horror movie soundtrack. That's not fair on Hammer House of Horror. Because I don't hate them. Stop! That's not fair! I'm braking, so I've got no control over my car. Petrol station, congratulations on making the record books. Best times. Because I'm not racing someone else. Oh, and words to that effect. Right, one more go, one more go. I'm going to reset. I want to know if I can change my car. I must be able to change my car, because then it's even shitter than I thought it would be. Right, so is it up or down? 1, 2. What? You can't let me... Z. Period. Look, see, that's a different car at the bottom. Hang on. I don't know. Is that for like 2-player? No, there can't be a 2-player mode. Why won't you let me change my car? I don't like you. Right, we're sticking with easy because that shifting was just... Yeah, and then Z. Right, and then period. Who chose these keys? Blind Pew? And then, yeah, we're going with that. Oh, I'm in a different car because I'm in the 959 then because I got the cup holder. It's all about the cup holder. It does self-center. So, it's dab. So the roadside objects, at the side of the road I should say, don't appear to kill you. But everything else does, even though it's miles away from you. No other cars, I'll take this. I mean, even hard driving. Well, actually, you could argue hard driving for what it is, even though it's got a frame rate of like 4 frames a second, is impressive on the Spectrum because it does 3D. And even that controls better than this. And that's pretty shit. This is just awful. I mean, you didn't just dial this in. I know this is years later, me saying that. But you know people would have bought this, especially 8-bit owners, because they would have wanted this. I just hope the magazines didn't lie. Look, we can go 200 miles an hour though, which we couldn't in the Amiga versions, because they were good at that. They could be all bought off back in the day. I'm looking at you, Sinclair user, with the Nemesis Game Boy Konami. What hit me? And why aren't you registering the petrol station? It's just there. Right. I don't care. Yeah, sorry you didn't see anything. Sorry you had to sit through this. I'm pretty sure most of you didn't. There's a car behind me now. I've blown him away because I'm going 134 miles an hour. If I go any faster, I'll go back in time. He's keeping up with me though. Why won't you turn? Look. My steering's working. I think that's the old bill. My steering is working, but it is the old bill. The steering wheel has stopped working, but I'm still steering. If that makes sense. I can't play any more of this. I can't play any more of this. I had to show this as I'm working my way through all the versions. I'm going to give Test Drive 2, the Duel, a go on the Commodore 64. It cannot be as shite as this. Anyways, always I'd love to know what you think, especially if you played this, the Spectrum version, back in the day, and you felt utterly betrayed and ripped off. If you didn't, what's wrong with you? Anyways, always thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.